Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Wilson. I'm the owner and founder of Andesite Blue, and we're brought to you this evening by Toloka Studio. I really do appreciate what Toloka Studio does, not just for my program, but what they do on a daily basis in producing some content and events and things that are going on, current events and what's going on in Ukraine, and just they're just absolutely a fantastic organization that helps. Toloka Studio also is an NGO. They are non-for-profit. So, if at any time that you feel that you would like to support Toloka, they are very open and welcome for that. Anyway, this evening we are going to be talking about business. We're actually, you think that, we're under war, we're under a massive pressure. The economy is struggling in Ukraine. The GDP is in the tank, as we call it. It's month on end. It's going down. It's not recovering, and it's all due to the war. We can't really freely ship out of the ports right now. Russia is creating all kinds of trouble, and not to mention just the attacks and the missiles and everything else that Russia is doing. This is absolutely atrocious. Anyway, there's still a glimmer of hope. I live in Kyiv. Kyiv is the capital of Ukraine. It's the largest city, and there are millions of people here. There was a big departure of Kyiv and a big departure of Ukraine in the beginning of the war during February and April and May. There was a big exodus. So we lost about 4 million or so refugees that had left to flee for their lives. And I understand it because it was the women and their children. And, I could not see my child being in an area that was in danger. So it's totally understandable. But from what I understand and what I have read, that about 70 or 75% of those people who have left have come back to Ukraine. And I remember coming back from Warsaw, that the trains were full and the buses were full coming back, and it was just as busy coming back into Kyiv as it was when they were leaving. And the traffic now is reversed. The cars coming back into Kyiv, there was just a big old long line, and it took a couple of days to get back to Kyiv. People miss home. They want their life back. This home is always a place of peace, and so. Business is in the same way. During that time, it was completely empty. The stores were closed. The only thing that was open was the grocery stores and the medical and the pharmaceutical. That was it. No clothing stores, no malls, no restaurants, nothing else was open. And then the streets were empty. There was barricades everywhere. You didn't see but one or two cars driving down the road. That was it. And then April came, and there was just a little bit more vehicles. And May came, and it got busier. And then June came, and it became extremely busy. And July and August. Now we're in August, and you almost get the feel that the pace is back to normal. It isn't quite. But people are striving to go back to work. They really want to work. Work, it's more than just to provide a life for you, to provide a shelter, to provide food and clothing and things like that. Obviously, those are the important parts of what work does provide. But it also has a moral part of us in our character and our own morale. And staying motivated and staying out of depression. And it's all, so we can only live on our savings for so long, but when that gets depleted, then panic begins to take place and, depression and things. So we're going to be talking about those things today. We're actually going to kind of go pre-COVID and then into COVID and then also from February 24th to now. Just to talk about the changes, we're going to talk about a little bit about investments. The foreign investments, they kind of took a back seat to see how this was going to go. Now we're starting to see more foreign investment money coming into Ukraine, which is encouraging. Ukraine, the government of Ukraine is striving to keep the economy rolling, and so they're actually encouraging and for people to work, to get back into the workforce, not only for the economy of the country, but for the economy of our own personal lives. So I have a guest. She is returning to us. Before we had talked about her when she was away from Ukraine and how it affected her. And on a personal level, again, we're going to be talking about business. And so I'd like to introduce you to Lyubov and Borshch. I hope I said that right.
Yeah, borscht like Ukrainian soup.
Yes, which is my favorite Ukrainian soup. So.
Yeah, it is good.
Anyway, so Luba, thank you for joining us again, and I'm really excited actually to talk to you today.
Good evening to everyone. It is also a nice possibility for me to come back here again.
So we touched on it a little bit, and I know you personally on a more personal level, so I've had a chance to talk to you about what you do and your work and everything. And what I'd like for you to do is just take a moment and tell us, kind of give us a timeline of what your business and what your job was before COVID, and then how COVID impacted it for a few months or maybe several months, and then how that you started recovering again, and then all of a sudden February 14th. So if you would just take us through that timeline about your business, because one thing that I know is that you love your job.
Yeah, it is correct. I love my job. My job organized. I have my personal event agency, but in sphere of design and architecture.
Mm-hmm.
So organize special events with invitation designers and architects. So before COVID and also before war, situation for me was bright and perfect because besides I could organize events in Ukraine, also organize in Latvia, in Riga.
Mm-hmm.
So I could also travel for my business. And I love especially this part of my job because I could travel and I could see different mentality in different countries.
Mm-hmm.
I could meet different people. I could try different cuisine. So, and you know that usually, especially for me, traveling it is like fresh breath for me. It is like new energy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes.
So, and before war, I remember that 22 February, two clients confirmed me like projects,
Mm-hmm.
events, and after 24 February, situation was changed.
Yes, dramatically changed.
Yes.
So a lot of
for
things that you
everyone.
had in the plans all got canceled, which.
Yes. Sure, March, April, May, June, it was like very, very quiet period for everyone
Mm-hmm.
because I think not just me, everyone couldn't understand where should we move.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What will be situation? So sure, it was impossible to think about especially events. So
Right, it wasn't on the forefront of your mind of
Yeah.
providing those things. I do the same thing, as I mentioned. I mean, I put together parties at my place, and they're events. I personally do them to bring people together because it's kind of a networking, it's a social atmosphere for people just to feel relaxed and comfortable, but it's also opportunities for people to meet new faces and new business opportunities and connections. And it brought a lot of people together that way.
you understand me?
Very much, yes.
Yeah.
And I love that part. And I also had a party planned on February 26th, on a Saturday evening. And so when February 24th happened, I says, don't worry, we're still going to have it. It wasn't really we didn't know the severity of the events that were happening
Mm-hmm.
around us. Come Friday, when the bombing kept going and stuff, then of course, Friday evening I says, look, we're canceled. We can't have this event party. To them, it was a casual party, a gathering, but for me, it was just a great opportunity because I always knew people met, and then next thing you know, they had their contacts, and then I saw that the contacts connections were there. I still meet people that are the people that I have met that way. I still have them on my contact Rolodex, as we call it, on my contact list. Because I can go back to them on different resources, different needs, and because each person has something to bring to the party, to the table. Now, your profession as an architect and design, correct?
Yes, but I'm not designer. I just organize business meetings for designers, architects.
Okay.
For presentation, I don't know, maybe new line of furniture or parquet or like bath. So everything what people need for like both house or apartment, because like almost 20% of people, if you buy a house or apartment, first of all you hire a designer.
Yes.
Designer for project.
Yes.
And for sure, designer must put in project everything, light, parquet, everything.
No, it's just a shell. There's
Yeah,
nothing there.
correct.
There's
Just
not,
like
they're not even
all
electricity. It's just
inclusive.
yeah, exactly.
All
One big
inclusive.
closet. Yes.
So for sure, designer must know everything. What furniture. For sure, it is also depends what budget.
Right.
So,
right.
For budget, you must choose for client everything. And my job, I like key between showrooms and designers.
You're like the independent IKEA.
Yeah, correct.
Because IKEA has all of those
Yes.
things in there, but it's
Definitely.
it's just a big
Yes.
Swedish store. But you do it on a more independent level and a social level, which is
Yeah.
far more enjoyable. But you bring in new ideas, new concepts. You bring with other companies and other organizations, other people,
Yeah.
other architects,
Correct.
other designers,
Yes.
and no.
But
it's-
I connect everyone.
Now, before COVID, how many of those events did you put together a month or a year? How many?
No, usually I try to organize every month.
Every month, okay.
So minimum one, maximum two, because I need time to prepare events.
Yes, yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yes, sure. So I prefer like must be very professional, because for me very important what people say after, and
Yes.
my reputation for me very important.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, on COVID, obviously the first few months there was nothing, because there
Yeah,
was lockdown,
sure.
nothing. I
Yeah,
mean,
unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my clients decided to flee the country, and still some designers, Germany or Austria or somewhere else.
Well, and construction was stopped for a time, but after about the third or fourth month, things started clicking back in. Restaurants were starting to open a little bit.
Yes.
May, June. So in the peak of your time during COVID, before February 24th, were you back to the once a month, or was it kind of spread out a little bit, maybe once every 2 months?
No, if compare for me personally, if compare February and right now, sure, right now already more active. Right now.
Right now,
Yes.
I meant before February 24th.
Before sure.
Yeah, so
was,
January,
was more
December,
active.
January. Were you back
Yes.
to once a month events?
No, usually December, yes, because it's like before New Year, and a lot of people want to organize something like for bright emotion, for some mood. And January, usually it is like New Year, after our Ukrainian Christmas, after Epiphany. So usually Ukrainian people or January celebrate something.
Yes, there's always.
So every year. So usually in normal life, after December, my jobs started in February.
Okay, so
in
yeah.
January it was like maybe
Your time to go to Italy or some
yes.
nice warm
Somewhere
area.
or
Yeah.
maybe to my parents or
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Okay.
And after in February, I could come back to my job and started to plan, actually do it for my events.
Okay. Well, and then now, so then you had 4 or 5 months there that you couldn't do anything since February 24th.
Yes.
But you're starting to see a little bit of life come back into your business, correct?
Right now, yeah, because I was also abroad all this time, and I come back to Ukraine in June, because my parents. And in July, I started to call my clients and ask how they are, how they feel the situation, because I wanted to understand what happened with my clients, what situation with business.
Yes.
Because, for example, one my friend, also client, like he products Ukrainian furniture for Horika. Horika it is restaurants, bar, and Russian army destroyed everything for his business. Everything destroyed.
Okay.
So right now he must to restart everything from zero, like new page in his life. But after my calling clients, I started like to ask, so maybe we can organize maybe some appointment and discuss something. And they told me, yes, Luba, why not? We can do it. So we started organize appointment, discuss what can be. Maybe we can start to plan September or October. And I see already some clients want to organize events.
Very good, yes.
Like to take maybe new attention for their showrooms and for their some
all right.
production.
Well, that's good. That's encouraging.
Yes.
It's nice. I mean, we, during this time, especially within Kyiv, we see activity starting to pick up among the people and the desire to get back to work, and that's the encouraging part, because that's nobody wants to be idle and nobody wants to sit around. We still have our volunteers who are helping with the hardships and the humanitarian parts, and working together to help our people and our citizens throughout Ukraine. We're still taking in refugees from the occupied territories, the ones that can escape, and we're taking them in. But we have to be able to support all that, and by doing that, we have to work. And so this is encouraging to see that.
But you see also that a lot of people come back in Kyiv. You see it.
Yes.
Already sometimes traffic.
The traffic
again.
is get bad again. Yes.
So
we got the rush hour traffic. Yes.
If compare March and right now, it is very big difference.
Well, the other thing too is the cranes are moving.
Yes.
They're working. So the construction is going back into the new developments and the new buildings that are, and they were no work at all for 4 months there, and now you start to see, you can hear the jackhammers going, you can hear the drills going, you can hear construction going on, you can hear the voices of the men working as you're walking down the streets. Even my own apartment, I have a couple of new constructions kind of off in the distance there, and you see those cranes moving around and they're working, and that is really, really encouraging. And so these buildings and these developers want to get these things finished. People have invested money into that. These are their homes. These are future homes. And so all of that is starting to move again, and all of that helps because it brings the economy back into a moving status instead of being stale. And for investors as well. So, foreign money is important to any country, not just Ukraine, to any country. It's what stimulates the economy, to have foreign money to come into it. Ukraine is poised to be the absolute place, the new Dubai. I've said this before, even before the invasion. I've said that Ukraine is going to be the new Dubai. But now, with with destruction, with the amount of construction that we're going to have to do the repairs, to replace buildings, and all that's going on, and to continue on the new construction that's going on as well. We see beautiful buildings going up, and so Kyiv and even Kharkiv and Odessa, Lviv, and all of the beautiful cities, even Kremenchug, and Ivano-Frankivsk, and all of this is new construction. We're going to start seeing this new construction going on and these new contemporary buildings going up, which beautifies a city, makes it attractive. And so I truly believe that Ukraine is going to be that center hub of construction, of development, and of course, which will bring in new transportation, which will bring in new rail systems, and will bring in new highways and things for easier travel.
But already that a lot of people abroad want to invest money to rebuild Ukraine.
Yes.
Especially if we talk about Kharkiv and especially Mariupol.
Yes.
Because Mariupol is almost totally destroyed. And sure, this city demands a lot of investment to rebuild everything.
And which is, developers like from the ground floor up. I mean, it's a tragedy to have the destruction, but Mariupol is going to be a beautiful port city again.
Yes.
Absolutely a beautiful port city. Just mark my words on that.
Just it depends how long will be, sure, but
it'll happen.
Yes.
It's and I'm encouraged to see what's going on right now with the Crimea bombings, with Kherson. Do you know the occupied territories along that peninsula of the Crimea Peninsula, right there along the Azov Sea? Other than Mariupol, they never really heard bombs or sirens. For the first time last week, sirens were throughout those areas in all Kherson Oblast, yes, and even into Donetsk. The sirens went off in there, and those are Ukrainian-controlled sirens. And so people are like, we've never heard of it, and they've never heard the bombs before either, because Russia just kind of walked in and did the fight out there, but they were occupied. Now, my friends, I have a family staying with me that is actually refugees from the occupied territory. Russians just basically just raped their house, just basically took everything out, just stole everything, told, the gold, the jewelry, the money, the appliances, they just took everything, because they're barbaric. Barbarians.
But you know that now I watch news about Crimea, and I watch with people, and I would like to ask them, so right now, do you understand us Ukrainians and what we felt before? It is just a minimum what you can see.
Right. Yeah.
It is just minimum in reality what you can see. And if you watch news, you see like all people in Crimea like
in shock.
In shock. But I would like to ask them, come on, it is still nothing.
Yeah.
It is still nothing.
Yeah, because we target specific, the military, and we target specific places. We do not include the civilians, where Russia arbitrarily kills civilians. They kill civilians and they bomb civilian things. We don't do that. And so those explosions were the military airports, the train stations that were bringing supplies in from Russia into Ukraine. Those are all specific targeted places. We're very careful in our surgical way of taking care of it.
Very careful, because my country, Ukraine, and you also already like resident of Ukraine, you know that our army do everything very, very careful. Because first of all, we think about people.
It's their home, it's their family,
yes.
They're protecting them.
Russian, really, it is crazy country. It is crazy country, and still I can't understand why this country on the map. Because this country must be isolated.
And I agree with the PM of Poland and what he said, that Russia needs to be abolished completely because they've never been able to be part of society. Now, the reason why I brought that up, that those things that now in the occupied territories where the civilians are now hearing things that they've never heard before, it's a very encouraging part, because now I truly believe that Kherson is going to be in the next 1 to 2 months liberated.
I hope.
And me too. I'm just kind of paying attention to the signs. As a military man, I'm kind of watching and paying attention to the little innuendos that are going on that set it up, and so I hope within two months that Kherson can be liberated, and that will be the first step, and then go on over there and choke off the peninsula, so that nothing can come in from Crimea. And so there's a lot of strategic things now that are very encouraging that I see that is happening, and it's actually kind of brings a certain zeal to it. That being said, once those places are liberated, now we've got work to do, and when the war is over, as I said last week or the week before, there's going to be a party. 7 days straight, 7 nights of the party at my place, because it's a total victory. It's a total victory party, because it's going to be total elation of our liberty and our freedom back, in Ukraine, back to that. So I believe that day is coming, and we are going to just enjoy that moment. It's just going to be a pure 7-day celebration. Then we'll go to work. But right now, to see how we're striving and how we're working. So something else happened during this time, because you said you kind of had some new ideas. Okay.
Yes, you know that I'm a very active person. When before I felt like a little stressful, so I decided to take for myself time, like to just calm down.
Mm-hmm.
So and this time I used for myself to create new ideas. And my idea is I want to organize online project in my Instagram, and I want to take interview with Ukrainian designers, architects who now abroad.
Okay.
So interview will be about what life we have now,
Mm-hmm.
what were plans, what maybe the plan for nearest 1 year, and do plan when they come back to Ukraine. So, and how they can describe their state right now just by 3 words. So I would like to ask them, because it is very important, because I'm sure every one of us was changed
Yes.
in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
I change these foods, maybe change like before this war, and therefore it will be like normal interview about life, about like their feelings, about plans, and this question, please describe yourself just with 3 words.
3 words.
Yes.
Describe myself in 3 words.
Yeah.
I never talked so short before. I have to think about it.
Yeah,
But it's good. But it's good. Yes,
thrilling.
it's thought provoking, and that's what
Yes.
you want to do. You want to be able to just stir the thoughts up. I've met many people just in the past couple of weeks, my friends and things, and they are not working, and so they're saying, "Oh, I'm not working. I'm kind of looking. I'm thinking about changing my career. I'm thinking about going a different direction." And that's actually a good thought process, because your current skill, there's no work in Ukraine for it currently. So you're having to be creative and to think of something different. What's great is that the education is available around the world. You can go online and pick up any education you want. You can do online training and online skills. You want to do IT, you can improve your IT. If you want to embroider, you can improve your embroider just off watching online. And if you want to, whatever you want to do to change your skills, you look across the horizon, and you look to see where the need's at. Okay, is there something here that is missing? You can fulfill that. That's commerce. That's opportunity. And so take a look, open your eyes, see what it is. It's scary, because sometimes you start out with nothing in your head. You don't know what to do. But if you give some thought and say, you know what, I wish we had this because I surely need it. Then you go, alas, maybe I can be the one to provide that, because I know other people need it too. And it goes that way. Kind of like you see the scooters with the boxes for delivery, food delivery.
Yeah.
That's went boom during COVID.
Yeah.
And now people are going to get comfortable with that. So even when things go back to normal and we can go to the store, stuff like that, we've gotten used to this delivery system, and we're going to continue to use it.
But that also my opinion that I'm sure that every person has some talent.
Yes.
And a lot of people even didn't try to open this talent inside these people. So, because my opinion, for example, some of my friends they liked paint some pictures. It was just like hobby. And after all, we said like to improve hobby, and already she presented her like art pictures in Vienna.
Okay.
So, sure. So step by step, Even she didn't afraid to do it, but she wanted to do it. So my opinion, if you have maybe some ideas or even better some dream, my opinion, you must be sure go ahead to your dream. Because a lot of people just afraid, oh, I don't know.
They're
what
afraid to
will
take that
be?
step. Yes.
Oh, what other people think about it? Come on, for example, I never think who maybe thinks about something. I feel comfortable. For me already it enough. Because I feel comfortable. I don't care what you think about me. I feel comfortable, I want to do it. So why I can do it?
Exactly. And the thing is to taking that step to try. You'll never regret trying, but you will regret if you don't try.
Yeah,
You know, that's
correct.
that's just a part of life. You know, you don't have to necessarily succeed. The fact that you're putting the energy and the effort into it, because what it does is it opens up other doors and creates other ideas and new inspiration.
Yeah.
You know, so it keeps you active and moving. You know, and that's what you want. You know, inactivity is very difficult to motivate and get going, but once you're moving, and it's easy to redirect and to move forward.
Yeah, right. Just people just should try to open new doors without like some feelings. Oh, I'm afraid. What can be? It's told before. If you never try, you never understand what will be after.
Exactly. There also a struggle that happens in many people's lives, including my own. The other day I was kind of really under pressure. I woke up and it was just like this, oh, okay, I got to deal with this. I have a big project I'm putting together right now. It's a very, very large project. It's requiring a lot of money to be able to finance this project. If I don't raise that money, then the project will not succeed, or the opportunity will be gone. And I have a short window of time to do it. So it's a lot of pressure. Now I had some things I needed to do. I had to create a 2-page, what we call a teaser or presentation. So that's the beginning, then I have to create another 10-page presentation after that, the second phase. But the first phase, I had to get started. I didn't know where to start. It's like, what am I going to how do I start this presentation? I've never really had to do one before because all of the projects that I've done was always face-to-face. I raised money face-to-face. Now I'm having to do this not face-to-face, so I have to write it out. I didn't do it. I was going to do it on Saturday. I wasn't feeling good anyway on Saturday, but I didn't do it. So I woke up Sunday depressed. Just spirit down, just... I felt better physically, but it's like, oh. And then Monday came, because I knew I needed to get this done. I did some work on Sunday, but then Monday came, and I knew it needed to be completed. And half of my team is in America, so they're asleep. And I can't do anything for the first, 6 hours of the day. And I was like, oh, and I just had that feeling. Those are normal feelings of any person that goes through in business, when you struggle. And so, when you run into a wall or run into something you don't really know how to do it, I was not perfectly skilled to do this. If I had the talent to really write something out and get that together and do a presentation page and make it jazzy and snappy and everything, if I had that ability, I would not. I would just wrote it out because I love to write. I love to tick 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 tick. I'll write out pages of things, but that I didn't know how to do. And I go, oh, well then. A thought came to my mind. It says, well, take a look at your executive summary. And I go, oh. So I looked at this executive summary, and I kind of put out an outline there. And I go, oh. So I just started writing. I was, for the first 6 hours of Monday, I was in this bleh mode. And I was thinking, you just kind of want to give up mode, And, but the moment I started writing, and I started and I kind of took some of the ideas from an executive summary and kind of put them on the page. And I put it on the page, I kind of threw the stuff down on the page. And I go, okay, well, that doesn't quite look right, so I redid it a little bit, and all of a sudden, I got it done. Now, I knew that it wasn't perfect, but it had everything in there I wanted. So I shot it off over to, once America woke up, I shot it over to one of my partners and said, hey, look at this, tell me what you think. Now, he has a banker's history. He was a banker, a very successful bank that he sold to one of the largest banks in America, to Wells Fargo. And so he understands finance. And it was actually a finance page I was putting together. And he said, "Oh, I love it, but let me change it a little bit." You know, he didn't change the structure of it. He used everything I said in there, but worded it in the financial institutional vernacular, in the words of finance and banking that would just made total sense. And it's like, and so it came back all shiny and polished. You know, it was like, oh, that was beautiful. And all of a sudden, it just lifts you out of that muck and feeling. You're like, wow, victory. Okay, let's go out and have a beer.
So you see that it is right, because if people are not active and they do nothing, they feel like exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Really, like. But if people active, like they feel very energetic.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
Well, and it's not normal. Like, I know that you're a very positive person. You love that joy. You love that smile. You love to have that emotions and feelings on a daily basis. And I'm kind of the same way. But not every day can be that way. Not every day is that way. So we do have to fight for it. It's not something we just wake up and just, I'm just. A lot of times we have to speak to the day to motivate ourselves to do that. You know. So, but when we do, then the feeling of victory, small victories, and especially in business and ideas, you know, it's just taking the steps forward to do something, changes everything and gives you that motivation and gives you that inspiration, you know, and that creativity that you need, you know. So take the step, take the first step. If you have an idea, if you're a good cook, let's say you're just a good cook at home, maybe borscht is your favorite.
Can be, can be.
But you know, and I like homemade borscht more than restaurant borscht. Restaurant borscht, I have not found one restaurant that makes a good borscht.
Come on, if you go to restaurant Первак, I'm sure you.
Prvak, I had their borscht and it's not as good, but it's good. It's okay. I've had Prvak borscht. No, I've been to many restaurants and I just stopped ordering borscht. Because it's just kind of bland. It doesn't have that personal touch. It's just kind of like put together by some kind of formula that they machined at this machine. It wasn't that personal touch that every homemade borscht, every woman that was taught as a little girl,
yes, I understand.
Homemade borscht is the best. So maybe you make great borscht. Maybe you make something that's a delicacy that's Ukrainian, specifically Ukrainian, that you're very good at it. Whatever it could be, that could be your idea. That could be your something to do. That could be something to create. And you start out small. You make them. You kind of give them to your friends and family, and then you maybe sell them. You know, and it, just see what it does, and see where it takes you, and see what happens. And
yeah, those your idea, do something new. Even if you didn't before try it, so you should try it.
Yes.
Or if you can do something, so do it more often, and you can improve it, and maybe later you can receive money for your hobby.
Correct. And and then you can scale it and so on. You can make it bigger and grow.
Right.
But it takes your inactivity out. It allows you to have that creativity. You'll be inspired. You'll wake up motivated. You'll wake up excited about what can I do today, or what am I, or maybe you already know what you're going to do today, but you did it. You created it, and you got outside of the fear. You got outside of the box that has kept you in prison, you know. Sure, before COVID, before war, all of that, we had our life going. We knew what we were going to do. We worked here. We did that. We had everything in perfect order. But that all changed in COVID. That all changed February 24th. And so we have to be creative. Our jobs will come back, and you will be able to go back to your jobs when the settling happens and the victory happens. But maybe that new creativity, though, will be greater than what you were doing before. And you will be like Lyubov.
Can be.
You will be just like Lyubov, who absolutely loves her job.
Yes, it is me.
It is the best place to be. So, thank you for joining us this evening and listening to our conversation on business. Things are getting better here in Ukraine in that sense. Investment money is coming in, but it's on a trickle level. It's slowly coming in. Andesite Blue, that's what we do actually. We raise funds from out of the country. We bring foreign money into Ukraine. We invest it in here. So we're actually poised and ready to invest in many of these different projects that are going to be needed. And there's a lot of new ones that we didn't see before that now we do see. And it's going to be very critical and very important to help in the rebuild of Ukraine. When anybody who hears my voice and hears Lyubov's voice this evening, that was inspired by something that says you don't have to sit in your apartment and be depressed or be down. You can reach out to us. We'll be happy to encourage and to inspire and to help. Maybe it might be a good idea to put together a kind of a talk group. That's
Can be.
just where people
Can
are,
be.
just a
Just
social.
very active to be very important. Sorry, to be active.
Yes.
So don't sit at home. Don't be like under press, under stress, under your bad mood. Just be active and step by step, God gives you some ideas.
So it gave me an idea just now that between now and next week, when I see you next week, I'm going to try to put together a support group of business entrepreneurs and ideas. This will be a voluntary group in the beginning, so anybody will be able to join. By this time next week, I will have a link or some type of address for you to go to be able to go online and connect with, and we will actually have live meetings face to face as well for those who are in Kyiv, and maybe possibly live stream those for those people who are outside of Kyiv. But either way, let's put our ideas together. Let's come together and support one another and be an inspiration to one another. Again, thank you. Have a good night. It was a pleasure to see you this evening, and we'll see you next week.